Miss Esther. You phone taker? To your phone.
WKMB's Healing Plainfield, a service of Harvest Radio.
It's time now for the Town Talker with Reverend Zechariah A. Jackson. Reverend Jackson is founding pastor of the Church of What's Happening Now, located in Plainfield, New Jersey. And now, the Town Talker, Reverend Zechariah Jackson.
Well, I tell you, it's good coming to you. It's such a beautiful day out. Finally, spring is hit.
Yes.
Spring is here, and we hope that it stay here.
Right.
Again, just took off my Russian hat, left it in the car. So hopefully, 3 weeks ago I put it up and I had to go back and get it, So hopefully, it's here. We have an interesting show today. We're going to be talking about many things. First, we'll start with Rebecca Kelly, that's running for mayor of Plainfield.
Oh, thank you, Pastor.
And then we're going to be talking with these ladies here about interracial dating and dating in general. Is that right?
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Rebecca, give us some news. What's going on with the mayor? What's going on? Pass the mic. It's easier.
Yeah. Well, Pastor, right now I'm just coming from City Hall.
Okay.
So they have pulled the names, so I'm not sure exactly who is who right now. But I
Okay.
think we have 6 candidates in the field running, and the mayor makes 7.
All right.
So that's the only news I have to give you for right now.
All right. Was there some kind of meeting you guys had today, or what?
No, it's just right into the clerk's office.
Oh,
Mrs.
okay.
Lottie Wack's office.
Okay.
Everybody stands around right there.
Oh, okay. So you got to meet everybody.
Yeah, so we met, it's about 10-15 minutes, that's what I would say.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Now, when is the primaries?
Primary is June 2nd.
Oh, wow. Okay. So definitely next month, I'd like to reach out to all the candidates and bring all of you guys here. And, the show is open for those that want to come. We can offer the stage, but we can't make you come. You understand? You gotta want to come. You understand? So the church will offer, and just for Plainfield can get familiar with those that's running for office.
Sure.
So, okay, now where do we want to start? This is basically your show today. Introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Elder Denise Clark from New Vision Ministries.
And I'm Elder Mary Thompson from New Vision Ministries.
Okay. I know she's already.
And my name is Esther, and I'm from New Vision Ministries.
Okay. All right. Now today the show is centered around interracial dating. Okay.
That's correct.
You
Yes.
grab that mic, please, so that we have to. Yeah. Just pull the mic out. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Now where are we going to start with this?
Well, many times people struggle. Well, it used to be a time when there was a struggle with interracial marriages and relationships. People had issues with
Sure.
it. But today, it's so prevalent. It's, everywhere. And I think young people really have set the trend because they're very acceptant. They don't go by the skin color. And I think generations of past
Sure.
used to have a problem with it. I myself personally did have a problem with
Sure.
it. My sister, she's married. She's African American. She's married to an Irish man, and
Okay.
at one point I did have a problem with it
Oh.
because I felt that culturally she didn't understand what she was getting herself into, and I felt that she should stay.
Now, how long have they been married?
They've been married for 20 years now.
Wow.
Yes.
20 years. 20
Yes,
years.
so
It
That's-
works.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
I'm glad she didn't listen to
365
me.
times 20.
I'm glad she didn't listen to me
Okay,
because
okay.
I tried to convince her otherwise.
Sure.
But she's seen beyond the skin color, which showed that she was more wiser than I was.
Wow. Okay.
So, I don't think that it should be an issue, but I've always I was basing it basically on the cultural thing. I
Yeah.
felt that would be a problem.
Well, in truth, that right there is one of the ways that we were bred.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I be honest with you, I've never been out with anybody outside of African American because I was bred it that way. You know, it was really for protection.
Right.
You know, I mean, I never forget when I was 5 years old and my mother, just out of clear blue sky, grabbed me. You know what I mean? And told me that if Miss Ann say something to me, that she said, you run. You understand what I mean?
Right.
If Miss Ann asks you 234 Morton Street, where is it at? You know what I mean? You run. I said, Mama, I live on 234. She said, no, you run there. Cut your neck off. They'll tie you up.
Yes,
I said, oh my
that's
God,
right.
I got to get out of Dodge.
Right.
You understand me? So for me, family coming out of Georgia and things, it was different, you know what I mean, for me, because I still have that fear. You understand? I never forget even up to what was it, 96. A woman that had been working with me for years, and we were talking, and she lost her footing and touched me like this here, and I froze. I was getting ready to run. I was getting ready to take off at the airport, just like one of them big 747. I froze, and so I don't blame it on was there any hate in my heart? No, I don't blame it on that. It was the way it was coming out of the Jim Crow law,
Right.
and coming out of how we were bred it
Absolutely.
Correct.
for life. You know, you're like, hey, you understand?
Absolutely.
So but there's other things, and we want to talk to you. Introduce yourself again.
My name is Esther from New Vision Ministries.
Now, Esther, you have been in interracial.
Yes.
Have you been married?
To where you?
African-
No, I haven't.
Okay, but you've been in.
Correct.
Okay, and tell me, how was it?
Well, it's different,
Mm-hmm.
and for one thing, I don't see color,
Sure,
and I don't see color with many different races.
sure.
That's the way I was brought up in my
Okay.
home with my father,
Okay.
and he was against that.
Mhm.
So we weren't brought up to be hateful to others.
Sure.
I raised my children not to do that,
Mhm.
and my daughter is raising her children not to do that.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So that is a good thing, but I do understand it on both parts.
Sure.
And it's a different.
Because it's the bread, and it's the bread.
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of people forget, because we in America, we forget 5 minutes from now, it's all over.
Right.
The breading of the Jim Crow law is what set the stage for the separation.
Absolutely.
Now, if we would have never taken on that Jim Crow law after 1863 in this territory, 1865 in Texas, after slavery was over, we would be closer than we are today.
Right.
You understand me? It was that law that kept us in check, because it was law said, now this is the law.
Right.
So that's where a lot of people fall short at,
Right.
the Jim Crow law.
Correct.
But let me ask you this for you. Outside of, I know that you look past it, and it doesn't matter because of the way you were bred, the way you were raised, and that's a good thing. I'm gonna say this right here, and I hope that I don't get many calls from the African American community for this. But if I do, all right, fine. You got my number at the end of the show. All right, we in the African American culture, and I believe most minority cultures outside of the Asian here in America, I'm just generally believing this right here. We are bred in a mother-dominated culture, meaning that mama saves the day.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
You understand me
Yes.
now?
Yes.
It's just like I love my father, but because of the many different situations, you know what I mean? And as a kid, I say, well, toss the corn. I said, if one had to go, goodbye, daddy. Because mama was a show-enough thing.
Yeah.
She was like
You can
on
always count on
time.
mother, right?
Mama was,
Yeah.
I didn't call her mother.
Well,
I didn't call her mom.
Okay.
I call her mama.
Mama.
Or ma.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah,
you know,
know.
mom is too,
Yeah.
and really, and this here happened to me. I worked with a guy over 20 years, and I never forget, we started working together in 1983. And I remember we were working in Newark, and then we had to go to New York, and we had to ride together. And I never forget that as we was talking and everything, he said, "Who fixed your lunch, for you, I said, "My mama," right? or Ma, my mama, So he was talking. I said, "Who fixed you?" He said, "My mom." And at the time, I thought it was his maid. I had no clue that my mom, was mama. you understand me? I thought the way he would say that, my mom.
Yes.
I said, "Oh man, Joe got a maid at home. Oh, I must be rich." I thought, until I went home and talked to my mother, she said, that's what they call their mother. Where
Right.
in this territory, now if you go to Appalachian Mountain somewhere down south, that cat called his mother mama, just like we call our mother mama. So it changed a little bit.
Right.
Dealing with African American and his being basically where he's bred in a female save the day dominated culture. You bred it in a male dominated culture.
Correct.
Was there a clash because of that? Not race, but just because of that itself.
A clash between.
Between you and him because of the fact that after the day is over, he becomes man. You become woman. Where, okay, you understand that. I don't mean just for those that's listening to the Reverend. I don't mean that night at the sheets are down. So don't come calling Harvest Radio trying to get me kicked off. I mean, psychologically, he becomes man. Outside of all that, he's man. If you're bred in a male-dominated culture, and I'm bred in a female-dominated that's gonna save the day. You understand me? Did he expect more from you, and did you expect more from him?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
let's talk about that right
absolutely.
there.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, because I'm looking for the man to be more of the picture and the strong man in my home.
Yes.
Because that's what I was brought up with.
Right. And that right, let me interject. That right there is what society says too, because if I told you right now the highway fell down and the men are fixing the highway, or if I say, it goes back to that old saying that the PSENG is down and the men are fixing, automatically we go to white male. That's just a known fact. Now we are starting to bred in different cultures and different
Yes,
people. It's
absolutely.
just a fact.
Yeah.
I'm church of what's happening now. I talk fact. Hey, it is what it is.
Right.
Yes.
Now, so what I mean from that perspective, go ahead, from that.
I feel too that in the interracial that's taking place now,
Yes.
there is more education with both black and white people,
Yes.
male and female.
Yes.
So now the black male is presenting a more role as a white man
Right.
because he's educated
Right.
and he knows his role in
Right.
life. He's taken away from that female.
Right.
So today, you have a lot of females are looking towards black men because they're seeing that now they are coming equal
Yes.
with the white man.
Yes.
Why? Because the white man now is in control of his family.
Yes.
And it could be financial.
Yes.
It could be with the children.
Yes.
It could be in many different ways.
Yes.
And so now he's more or less equal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the problem is that a lot of these white men don't like to hear this.
Yes.
But this is the truth.
Yeah, but okay, that's going to be another show there. I understand where you're going there. I understand where you're going there. Right, I understand that right there.
Okay.
But that right there is just going to matter of time. It's just like, I was talking to some Republicans today. They said, well, we didn't need the stimulus package. We don't need this, that, no. But the truth of the matter is China loaned us the money. So the bottom line is, you know what I mean?
A lot,
we got to, and I'm going to say this right here too, to all those that's out there that's getting ready to vote another 3 years, 4 years for the president. You got a guy that's from the state of Louisiana. Was it New Orleans? Louisiana that's going to be probably running on a Republican ticket. All right, and he claimed that we don't need the stimulus package. He claimed his state is not going to take the stimulus package or whatever the case may be. So he's bad mouthing. They had a big thing the other day where they bad mouthing this stimulus package. But I can assure you, a person that's working 25 years at one job, when I need to refinance my house, I needed to refinance my house
Absolutely.
to take care of things.
Absolutely.
So let's get the game straight. You understand me?
Absolutely.
Don't get confused of where we're at.
Absolutely.
Now, coming back to you, my sister, is that what we want to know here is what was the difference in terms of you seeing him as male, not white male, but just as male itself, carrying the torch, walking through the door. Somebody knocking on the door at 5 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock in the morning, the mail will go down. whatever he saves a day, and he looking at you as you supposed to save the day. Was that a problem?
I noticed that, and this has been a while now, but when I did meet the one fella that I was really interested in and really cared for him a lot, we worked at that particular time at AT&T.
Sure.
So now we have a male that is educated,
Yes.
but he still has some of his ways that he was brought up
Yes.
with what you're talking about with
Yes.
mommy.
Yes.
Also, when they have wives or girlfriends,
Yes.
a lot of time those women are more educated. Why? Because he's looking to be nurtured and
Yes.
taken care of.
Yes.
Now, when he comes to the white woman,
Yes.
okay, she's looking at him to take care of her.
Right. There you go. There you go. I saw that in Home Depot one
Yes.
time, where the white woman, she laid back at the register,
Yes.
and Johnny or Bob or whatever, Bo, had to go into his wallet, where normally
Absolutely.
Mama with the pocketbook saves the day. Go ahead.
Right.
So was that a clash there?
Well, for me, not as much,
Sure.
because they realized that we were on the same position,
Yes.
the same level
Yeah.
of monetary amount of money that we're making.
Sure.
Okay, being in sales, we make quite a bit of money.
Mhm.
So therefore, I'm looking at his wallet. You're absolutely right, and he knew it.
But the idea is this right here. We come from a culture where mama gonna make shortening, and mama gonna make shortening bread. She's gonna make this bread happen. She's gonna make this thing happen. I don't know how she make it happen sometimes. She would make that soup and she would make it happen. Did he look to you to take on that role? I don't care about education.
He tried.
Yes. What happened then?
Unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
No, he has to be the man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, wait a minute. Not what you're looking for. I'm talking about what you was dealing with at the time.
That's what I was dealing with at the
You
time.
wanted him to be the man.
I wanted him to be.
Could
the man.
he hold the torch of man?
Not really. He
Not
was
really.
trying.
He tried.
He tried.
Okay. And how did you help him?
Well, I tried to help him, but then he had other issues.
Sure.
And that's white or black, it doesn't
Sure.
matter any race. So therefore, he would do other things like maybe having drinking problems.
Okay.
Okay.
Exiting out of walking the steps of man.
Absolutely.
One foot in front of the other.
Yes.
Soon we walk across the
And
floor.
white men
One
do
foot.
that as well. That's
Yeah,
why they
walk across the
take
door, out
drugs,
the door.
they
Yes.
drink, they do other things, sexual immortality, and it happens on both ends.
Sure.
The strong white woman is now her is coming up
Sure.
to the black white woman.
Mhm.
I mean the black
Black-
woman. I'm
black
sorry. And the black woman is a very strong individual.
Yes.
And now we are learning
Sure.
as white women
Okay.
to learn from our black sisters
Jesus!
how to stand up for ourselves.
All right.
How to protect ourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, against the strong, whether he be black or white,
Strong man.
man.
Well, hold it. Now, when you say protect yourself against a strong man, what do you mean by strong? Do you mean by because he's strong in his presence, strong in his money, or just mean towards you? What are we talking about there?
Well, she raised, what exactly were you saying when you said to protect yourself against a strong
Well,
man?
some men, whether they're black or white, have a strong nature in general, but that doesn't mean that they're kind, doesn't mean that they're compassionate, and that they're doing things right. Now, a lot of black men, when they're with white women, they think that they can boss them around and tell them what to do.
Right.
And then they find out they can't with
That-
every white woman.
Right.
Well-
That's because they cannot boss around.
The black
The
woman.
black woman.
Absolutely.
And I've heard
But
black
sometime, let me say this right here, sister. Sometimes it's off point because what happens is this right here. We deal with each other for different energies.
men. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
Different needs.
For different needs, different energies,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it. All right, different needs. Okay. Somebody has got to give. I lost in my life, I think, one of the beautiful women, if I could say that. I'm going to get the button from my secretary out there for wording it wrong. A sister that we really could have really made a mint together. And it wasn't because I was hateful towards her, but it was only because I was a strong individual and a strong man, and she felt the need to fight me. She fought me for years, and I tell you, she's a well-educated woman. And the only way I beat her in the fight, and I had to beat her in this fight, I had to think of the Battle of Russia, the Battle of Stalingrad. I'm a history buff. And I thought about the Battle of Stalingrad. You understand me? And I had to use everything I had to fight her psychologically. She's a beautiful woman, loved the ground she walked on. But it was only because, right, it was only because I was a strong man that she felt the need to fight. And one time, one of her little cousins, 13 years old, said, you know what? You two would be all right, but y'all in competition with each other. So, is it strength or is it competition? Come on, pick it up, somebody.
I think it's competition.
So,
You know.
why should we have competition?
You should have
There
competition
you go.
because you should know who you are,
Mhm.
and he should know who he is. And once the two come together, you know what I'm saying? You complement each other.
Sure.
But I don't think it should be competitive. I was in a relationship where I felt that it was a competitive type relationship, and I didn't want it to be competitive, but I was just a strong black woman.
Mhm.
I was brought up a strong black woman.
But
and
do that
I
hurt
too
you
am
at all,
looking
though?
for a strong black
But
woman.
let me ask you this right here.
Or anyone who's strong.
But let me say this right here. But do that affect the loving that you can give?
Of course it could.
Because the idea of that you're looking for a strong man, right? Because you're a strong woman. But do that take the flower from you, though? Do that
I don't believe so if the man stands up
Right.
and he becomes what he should be in a household. Then there's respect. We'll go to the word respect. When a woman respects her husband or her person that she's with, who's the head of the household, regardless what color he is, the important thing is respect for each other.
Yes.
Now, a lot of times, because the black man didn't feel superior
Sure.
to the black woman,
Sure.
he would put up a fight, okay, like you did.
Yes.
And
But it wasn't because I didn't feel that I felt inferior.
no,
I put up a fight because it was the fight of my life. Because
it was what you were used to too as a child growing
well,
up with your mom.
What it was it was that I was brought up to be a provider, to be a nurturer, to take care of family. That's how I was brought up. All right. But the idea is that when I met this individual, she felt because I possessed those characters of independent, working, visionary, can teach myself anything, she felt the need to fight me.
And maybe she didn't have that in her household.
She did not have that in her
That's
household.
why.
So the idea, it became a clash.
Right.
My love
Absolutely.
was, let's say 95%. Her love was maybe 5. But we were moving along and we could have been a great couple together. But the problem was she felt the need to fight when there was no need.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
So the idea was that coming home to an individual like that is not comfortable.
Well, it's not knowing one another well enough.
Right, and the fight, you shouldn't be fighting one another. You should be complimenting one another. Why would I want to be in a relationship with someone that I have to compete against?
Exactly.
When I'm at work,
Yes.
when I'm on the streets taking care of business,
Right.
I'm competing to
Yes.
get things
Right.
done.
Sure.
So when I come home and I'm with someone who I love and I care about,
Without a doubt.
that should not be
Right.
the time where we're fighting one
Yes.
another, but we should be building and encouraging one another up.
But what
So
happens a great deal of the
95%
time is in a situation like that, as the sister said here, elder said here, is that if you are this strong woman, do you know how to chain that reaction?
Right, you
Right.
have
You should.
to.
You should.
You have to because
Yeah.
a lot of times when women have been single and raising their families by themselves, a lot of times they are hard. They're working, they're carrying the load, they're taking on responsibility
Yes.
that normally it would be shared by a mate
Yes.
or their partner, their
Yes.
husband, hopefully.
And they
And
make
so
all
therefore
decisions.
now they have to make decisions.
Sure.
They have to handle everything, so
Sure.
they do become hard. But I'm gonna tell you, most women want a man that's strong because she's willing to sit back and let him take the lead. Most women want the man to take the
But
lead.
what I'm getting from most people, and I'll say this right here, and this right here is true here, I believe that, all right, I know you guys say that, but I think that when you are tough,
Mhm.
I'm tough.
Right.
You understand me? We're boxing. You understand? Like Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali back in the day. You understand? So the idea is that it becomes what you call a Phil in Manila. You understand me? A 15-round bout that we don't know who won, then won somebody surrender. Will it be, can we come together and understand and to understand each other's greatness or whatever? You see what I mean? Because if you're strong and I'm strong, right, and you're not going to give, then, it is what it is.
Well, I was created as the weaker vessel according to the word of God.
That's the word of God.
Okay,
But
that's
we
the
talking
word
about
of
the word of
God.
psychology now.
And the
And
word of
sociology.
psychology is this for me. It's
Yeah.
going to be different for every woman.
Sure.
And so I can't speak for every woman. I can only speak for myself.
Sure.
I am willing
Uh-huh.
to give up my rights
Mm-hmm.
as a strong black woman and be leading and being rough and tough because I was made to be soft.
Yes.
That's my nature. That is
Because
my
it takes,
character.
I think that it
nothing
takes a
from
lot.
me.
It takes a lot from the woman, whether she be black, white, or whatever. If she has to be tough, you understand me? It takes a whole lot from her. So what I wanted to know from my white sister here is that what happened? Did it end because of that, or did it? Is it still going?
Basically, yes.
Because
Yes, it did.
he wanted you to be more submissive for him.
Yes. And I felt that he wasn't standing up for what he was supposed